Could a simple pocket change coins from 1966, 1979, and 1983 be worth a life-changing fortune today? The top 3 most rare and valuable Washington quarter dollars worth a lot of big money that could make you rich. It might just be hiding one of the most valuable and rarest errors ever discovered in American coin history. But hold on to your seats, because the 1966 Washington quarter dollar has a secret. In fact, imagine stumbling upon a coin in your old change jar, and finding out it's worth $15,000, $75,000, or maybe even close to $1 million. Some of these rare 1966 quarters, thanks to mysterious mint errors, wrong planchets, and off-metal strikes, have sold at mind-blowing prices in major auctions. In this video, we're diving deep into the untold story of the 1966 era Washington quarter, its origins, its secrets, its jaw-dropping values, and the specific features you must look for. The story behind the 1966 quarter. To understand why the 1966 quarter is so important and valuable, you need to know what was happening at the U.S. Mint in the mid-1960s. The year was 1966. The United States was recovering from a coin shortage crisis that began in 1964, right when silver prices started skyrocketing. In a panic, people began hoarding silver coins, especially dimes, quarters, and half dollars. So by 1965, the Washington quarter, which had been minted in 90% silver since 1932, was now being struck in a new composition, 75% copper and 25% nickel, bonded to a pure copper core. No mint marks were used during these 3 years. That's right. Due to the coin shortage, the mint decided to eliminate mint marks altogether, making it nearly impossible to tell which mint facility produced which coin. This also made quality control issues harder to trace, leading to some fascinating and very valuable mistakes. Types of rare 1966 quarter errors worth big money. Let's get into the real meat. The rare 1966 errors and varieties that collectors are desperately hunting for. These are the coins that sell for hundreds, thousands, and sometimes 6 figures at auction. 1966 quarter struck on silver planchet, value, $5,000 to $30,000 plus. One of the most famous and desirable errors of the 1966 quarter. This coin was accidentally struck on a leftover 90% silver planchet from 1964 or earlier. One known example sold for $28,750 at auction. If one appeared today in pristine condition, it could easily fetch $50,000 or more. Wrong planchet errors, foreign coins. Value, $10,000 to $85,000 plus. Struck on Philippine 5 centimo blanks, a 1966 quarter struck on a nickel planchet sold for $11,500. The rarest ones, if pristine and misaligned, could push past $75,000 or more. Double strikes and off-center errors, value, $500 to $15,000 plus. Some 1966 quarters were accidentally struck twice, or off-center due to improper planchet placement. The more dramatic the error, the higher the value. A double-struck, off-center example in high grade could reach $12,000 to $20,000 at auction. Clipped planchet errors. Value, $100 to $2,000 plus. Value, $100 to $1,000 plus. 1966 quarter on silver planchet, PCGS -58 Australian dollars, sold for $28,750 at heritage auctions. 1966 quarter on 1 cent planchet, NGC MS 64BN, sold for $11,500. Imagine digging through your pocket change or your old coin jar and finding a 1979 D Washington quarter that's not just any quarter, but a rare, jaw-dropping error coin worth hundreds, thousands, or even millions of dollars. We're cracking open the incredible world of the 1979 D Washington quarter dollar, uncovering its hidden secrets, shocking errors, and mind-blowing values that could turn an everyday find into a once-in-a-lifetime windfall. Top rare 1979 D error quarters and their values. 1979 D off-center strike error, value, $500 to $3,000 plus. One of the more visually striking errors is the off-center strike. Some 1979 D quarters were struck way off-center. These can command $500 to over $3,000 at auction. 1979 D double die obverse, value, $1,500 to $15,000 plus. These coins can sell for upwards of $15,000, depending on the clarity of the doubling and the coin's condition. These are extremely rare, and only a handful have been identified. 1979, D on a nickel planchet, wrong planchet error, value, $2,500 to $10,000 plus. This kind of error is highly desirable because it's easy to spot, extremely rare, and hard to fake. Examples in uncirculated or mint condition have fetched as much as $10,000 at high-profile coin auctions. 1979, D broadstruck quarter, value, $1,000 to $5,000. A 1979, D broadstruck quarter with no reeded edge and a warped appearance can easily bring $1,000 to $5,000, especially in high grades. 1979, D die break, cut error, value, $500 to $2,500. The bigger the cut and the more dramatic the appearance, the more valuable the coin becomes. Some large cut 1979, D quarters have sold for $2,500 or more. 1979, D misplaced mint mark, RPM, repunched mint mark, value, $800 to $6,000. These RPM errors are hot collectibles, especially when visible to the naked eye. Verified examples have sold for up to $6,000. What makes these coins so valuable? There are a few key factors that influence the value of these rare error coins. Rarity. The fewer that exist, the higher the value. Condition. Coins in mint state, MS65 and above, fetch significantly more. Certification. Coins graded and authenticated by PCGS, NGC, or ANAC sell for premium prices. Visual appeal. Errors that are dramatic, unusual, or eye-catching tend to draw intense collector interest. Combine all of the above, and it's easy to see why certain 1979 D quarters have soared into the thousands, or even higher. Record-breaking sales and auction highlights. 1979 D double die obverse quarter, certified MS66 by PCGS, reportedly sold in a private sale for $15,500. A 1979 D quarter struck on a nickel planchet in high grade once sold at auction for $9,800. Off-center quarters from 1979 D with over 60% of the coin misaligned have reached $3,250 in recent years. Some versions of the 1983 P quarter contain jaw-dropping mint errors that collectors are scrambling to get their hands on. If you're lucky enough to spot one, you could be sitting on a small fortune. In today's episode, we're diving deep into the 1983 P error Washington quarter dollar, exploring its fascinating history, the rare mistakes that make certain coins astronomically valuable, and the insider tips on how to identify one. Historical background of the 1983 P quarter. What's especially notable about 1983 is that the U.S. Mint did not issue uncirculated mint sets for the general public. This makes high-quality examples, especially those in mint state, MS, much rarer than in surrounding years. Combine that with several spectacular errors, and you've got the recipe for one of the most sought-after modern quarters in American numismatics. Rare 1983 P error coins and their values. 1983 P double die reverse, DDR, value, $500 to $2,000 plus. If they appear doubled, you may be holding the rare DDR variety. Graded examples in MS65 or higher have sold for over $2,000, and demand keeps rising. 1983 P off-center strike, value, $250 to $1,500. When a coin is struck off-center, say 10% to 80%, the design appears shifted. If the date and mint mark are still visible, the value can skyrocket. In high grade, these have sold for $1,500 or more. 1983 P clipped planchet, value, $100 to $600. If the planchet was mispunched before being struck, a visible clip, either curved or straight, appears on the edge. Well-defined examples with full details are prized and can bring in $600 plus. 1983 P broadstrike, no rim, value, $200 to $800. This occurs when the coin is struck without the collar that forms the reeded edge, allowing the metal to spread out unnaturally. A 1983 P broadstrike with no rim can fetch $800 if in great shape. 1983 P struck on wrong planchet, value, $3,000 to $15,000 plus. It may have been struck on a 5-cent or foreign planchet. Verified examples have reached $10,000 to $15,000 at major auctions. 1983 P cut error, die break, value, $150 to $2,500. These create dramatic visual flaws and are highly collectible. Large cuts, especially on the obverse or across George Washington's face, can push values over $2,500. Why are 1983 P errors so valuable? No uncirculated mint sets. This means fewer high-grade examples were saved. Historical context. A time of change in U.S. coin production quality. Low survivability. Most 1983 coins were heavily circulated, so rare errors are hard to find in pristine condition. Collector demand. DDR and planchet errors from 1983 are among the most hunted modern U.S. coin errors. Real auction results that shocked collectors. A 1983 P double die reverse in PCGS MS65 sold for $1,955 in 2021. A 1983 P struck on a dime planchet, 10C, sold for $9,400 in a heritage auction. A high-grade off-center strike brought $1,100 on eBay. A broad-struck 1983 P quarter in near mint condition fetched $785 in 2023.